This is Bob Barker, and you're listening to Animal House Radio with Aaron and Dr. Mike.
But legally, you don't have many rights, and they could just take the animal and go somewhere else. Where there is a scumbag, in my opinion, a scumbag who says, "Yeah, I'll do that for the $100," because all they care about is a dollar sign, and that's all they care about. And those are the types of people that I can't stand. Those are the types of vets that really gets me. That they shouldn't be allowed to be out there, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I do the show, is that we hopefully educate people enough to steer away from people like that. It's the same thing when you go to a doctor. You always have a second opinion, sometimes even a third opinion. And anybody who says that you shouldn't or whatnot, I'm not going to say you're stupid, but you're not well informed.
See, as the way I look for a second, when people come to me and they want to seek a second opinion, I find that's great, because there's two reasons for it that I like it. Number one, if I happen to miss something, and listen, we're all human. If I miss something, another vet picks it up, great. Then the animal doesn't suffer. The animal benefits from it. And if it happens to be that they seek that second opinion and that veterinarian gives the same diagnosis as I did, then I end up then they look back and say, "Oh, hey, he knows what he's doing."
Yeah.
So either way, you win. You know, that's the way I look at it. I mean, we're all human, so I have second opinions. I don't have any problem with it at all. But I tell you, a lot of veterinarians I know that when people come for second opinions to me, wow, they get pretty angry.
Well, of course,
It's
right?
like they think that these
The old
clients are
boys
insulting them. Well, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong if you really care about your pet and you really are. Either you don't understand your veterinarian or you just don't believe them. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
Go seek another opinion somewhere else. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing.
And that's the issue. Is there's so many problems around this, and
my biggest beef, to me, honestly, is when people come in and I see them pulling up in their convertible Mercedes and they don't want to do $100 treatment on their dog.
They're cheap.
Yeah, and you know,
But that's
be
the
cheap with
individual.
yourself, but don't be cheap with a.
But that's the individual, and you have
a poor pet that relies on you for everything.
For that, you have to question the reason why you have a pet in the first place.
I agree.
Right? You know,
Yes.
and situations like we're going to talk about today in the program for the main topic, parasites. You'd be surprised how often these things can be prevented.
Right.
And you'd be surprised how often
inexpensively too.
Yes,
I might add.
of course.
Yeah.
But some of these things can turn out to be very, very deadly to an animal.
You got
and
it. We'll talk
not
about
even
that.
to an animal. But this could really, you know what? If you're not prepared, this could really hurt in your information and your credit cards and all. I mean, this is it's good news, but it's not good news. But we're going to cover it tonight, so everybody knows. And you know, I was reading before, 80% of all parasites come from the fecal matter of a dog.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing my research.
There you go. Good for
So
you.
if you're one of those people out there, I would say, who likes to train their dogs in their house and let them, do their thing, number one and two, all over the place in the house, and maybe you have another pet, I would think, and I'm not a vet, I'm not a doctor, I play one on TV, but I would say that's pretty bad to do in general, because isn't one of the easiest ways to catch something from another dog is through their stool?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah. So if you have, I would say, if you have two dogs or a dog and a cat or something like that, don't be training one to do one thing and having it lying around there.
Right.
You know, that could be pretty detrimental for stuff like that.
Definitely.
I want to introduce a new segment that we're going to be doing on the show and on the website.
Right.
This is going to be starting in about a month, but on the website at least, on animalhouseradio.com. And it's going to be starting next week.
While I'm away.
I think it's going to be starting next week. I don't know yet. I've got to talk to Jody about this one. But every single week, Jody, who's been a good friend of our program.
Right.
And, your vet has her papers. Everybody has her papers. She's big time.
Yep.
She's like the George Foreman of the industry. Great publication. And she's going to tell us more about it. And she's going to tell us more about the brand new segment that she's going to be doing on Animal House Radio. It's going to be called Jody to the Rescue. And hopefully right now, Jody, because I need to take a breath. Jody, come to my rescue.
Hi, Aaron. Here I am. I'm here for you.
Oh, thank you. Finally, someone's here for me.
Hey,
Hi,
Jody.
Dr. Mike.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Very good, thanks.
Excellent.
Excellent. Wonderful. You guys are like...
You say excellent, I'll say wonderful. He makes fun of me all the time because I always say wonderful. I'm thinking, boy, that's such a horrible word to say.
Excellently wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Jody to the Rescue happening. We're starting next week.
Yes.
And
Tell us about it.
You guys are both quite aware of the state of pet overpopulation in Canada and the U.S.
Yep.
And so that there's hundreds and hundreds of shelters across our countries, and they're with those shelters and with those nonprofit organizations like Dog Guides. We have hundreds and hundreds of dedicated volunteers and many, many, many supporters. So Jody to the Rescue is all about promoting those different organizations, all of their good works. We're going to raise profiles of organizations. We're going to promote some of their funky, cool, entertaining events We can share information with other nonprofit and like-minded people. And it's all about making life better for pets, animals, and people. And it's a feel-good thing. And there's going to be lots of great information that people can take back with them to their own organization.
Now, I know you and I were chit-chatting before the show, and we were just talking about some of the things that you wanted to do for your first segment and how it's going to involve the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver.
Yes, well, that's a little secret that I'd like to keep. But yes, there's a very strong.
I'm sorry, I've ruined it.
That's all right. No, you haven't ruined the secret, but there's a very strong, very positive connection to the Sea to Sky corridor, which is where you're going to find all of the different Winter Olympic events. They're in Vancouver and Whistler, and we have a unique organization that we're going to promote with very strong ties to that area.
So tell us more about the paper you write for, obviously, in the website where all the listeners can go in there, and maybe they can ask their vets and they can ask their local Mac stores to carry your stuff, because I think it should be in all the...
Sure. Well, it is a magazine. It's an environmentally friendly magazine. It's on newsprint, and we cover all animals. It's not just dogs and cats. It's also horses and fuzzy feather, furry, fishy friends. Right. We've got a section for kids. We've got a section called Pets and Elders, which focuses on the benefits that animals bring into the lives of seniors and other people. And there's lots of fun and entertainment, and we're always everything is on a positive note, and we're there to educate people and bring people into our community and just have some fun with while at the same time promoting the value of animals in our society.
Now, there must have been some sort of a recent issue, because everywhere I go, I keep getting stomped on the street, and women are just asking me for their autographs. And
that's because they think you're Elvis. They think they think that you look like Elvis. That's why, Aaron.
This guy's too much.
No, because recently there was an article in her paper with our picture.
Right.
In the current issue of Canadian Pets and Animals magazine, on the cover we've got the Jamaica Dog Sled Team,
which is me and you in a dog sled.
No, the Jamaica Dog Sled Team, they're awesome. You've got to read the article. They do lots of great work with the Jamaica SPCA, and it's a very interesting feature article. But in our at the front section, there's a very handsome photo of both you and Dr. Mike.
Oh, thank you.
And a nice description of your show.
Handsome. My mother calls me handsome. Say a hot photo of Aaron and a handsome photo of Mike.
Well, I told you, Aaron, the first time I saw you, I told you that I thought that you were an Elvis impersonator. So,
but that could mean anything. Elvis.
I don't know. I think you would find that many people like Elvis at all stages of his life. I'm talking about the young Elvis.
Okay, good.
The hound dog Elvis.
Because I don't want women in their 50s coming out. Well, it depends on which cougars there are. But you know what? So I want the young women screaming, Aaron! That's what I want. So if that's the kind of Elvis that I remind you of, then we're good.
Why am I blushing here? I'm the one blushing. I don't know what...
Because you're hanging out. You're beside the king. You're beside Elvis here.
Oh, boy.
Well, Dr. Mike, I'm sorry we're going to miss you next week, but I'm looking forward to talking to you guys on the next segment of Jody to the Rescue.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Jody to the Rescue premieres next week and on www.animalhouseradio.com. It's going to be a really cool segment, and we're really looking forward to it, Jody. Jody, you take care of yourself, and we will speak to you next week while you're in London.
Have a great weekend, guys.
You too. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. That is Jody, and she came to our rescue right there. She's awesome. It's going to be a really cool segment, and I'm looking forward to it. 416-785-0680, 416-785-0680. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the email of the week. This week's email is from Ed Wong from the 24-hour newspaper, where the Animal House column can be read from coast to coast, from Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg. No, we're not in Winnipeg. Edmonton, Calgary, but people in Winnipeg should demand that we're in that paper.
You got it.
And now, exclusively in Vancouver, Canada as well. Ed Wong sent an email at 24 at animalhouseradio.com to Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike, what did Ed say?
Ed had a really interesting question that a lot of people ask me, and I think it's a wonderful thing to talk about, and that is, do dogs see things in black and white? And he also asked, how far can they see in distance? So let's go on to the first topic, because that one's a neat one. Can they see in black and white? Yeah, they do see in black and white, Ed, but they also see in color. Now, the difference, easiest way to talk about it is comparing them to us.